Let's talk about values. What are values and how do they impact your life? For some people, the word values has a clear meaning. For others, it's a term they've heard in passing or are only now just beginning to realize. It's not just a vague concept, but a powerful guide for understanding oneself and shaping one's life direction. For many, values are presented through religion or culture. Others learn them through trial and error. So, what are values? To oversimplify, values are simply words that we give deep personal meaning to. Words like integrity, family, authenticity, honesty, and creativity. But not just any meaning, we make these words mean something about ourselves. When we're clear on our values, we use them to make decisions, to help regulate ourselves when emotions start to take over. Our values shape how we talk and behave, how we want others and the world to see us, and ultimately, how we envision our lives unfolding. In fact, these are often the words we would hope people would use to describe us at our funeral. This makes me think of an activity that I picked up from Stephen Covey some time ago, where you would imagine yourself sitting at your own funeral, and people from different areas of your life would come up and speak. And what would they say? Maybe they were so authentic, or he was so creative, or she lived with so much integrity. Values guide our path through life. Consider the path analogy. Remember the one from Misalignment Burnout? Imagine we're each born into or set on a path. This path has hills, valleys, bumps, and potholes. It will intersect, run parallel to, or sometimes even merge with the paths of others. When we're clear on our values, we can recognize our path more easily. We're able to navigate the bumps, detours, and obstacles, not because the road is perfect, but because we know where it's leading and what it's teaching us. We understand why it matters. But when we're unclear on our values, it's easy to veer off course. We might follow someone else's path because it looks nice, because we were told to, or because we just, think it was the right one. Or maybe we start, bushwhacking, just hacking and whacking through a totally new direction, unsure of where we're headed. Whatever the reason, at some point we get tired, worn out, lost, burnt out. Burnout, in this sense, becomes a signal, a symptom of being out of alignment with our values. Your values are like old friends or distant beacons. They imagine you're hacking and whacking through the bush and you get tired and you flop down and there they are yelling at you, "Hey, you're going the wrong way." And you're like, "Shut up. I know what I'm doing. Leave me alone." And so you keep going, tripping, stumbling, fighting the terrain, wondering why the path seems so much easier for everyone else. Eventually you fall exhausted. Not because you're weak, but because you've been trying to live a life that just isn't yours. And that exhaustion, well, it's information. It's a moment to reassess, a cue to reevaluate where you are and where you're actually wanting to go. And even if you've wandered too far, or even if you had never really had a clear idea what your values were in the first place, or what values were, they're there. And you can always return to them. You can always rediscover them. They'll be there waiting for you. Actually, this makes me think about a personal story about values. Because I had no clue about values then, but it became clear to me. I realized how values impact my life, specifically in relationships. I had found myself in one relationship after another, and it just wasn't working. And I couldn't figure out why, at least not until the last one. Well, not the one that I'm in currently, but the one before that, the one that kind of cracked something open. She was a wonderful human. And the difference between us is that she was clear on her non-negotiables. That's actually what she called them, her non-negotiables. But looking back, I now see that her non-negotiables were really just values, her values. One of her values was independence. She didn't need to be with her partner all the time. In fact, she used to tease me. She'd say, "Hey, you're not one of those guys who needs to be with their partner 24/7, are you?" And I'd be all, "No." Turns out, yeah, I am that guy. Stage 5 clinger all the way. I value closeness, consistency, daily connection. I didn't like when she traveled without me. I wanted to see her every day, if possible. For her, it was no big deal to go a few days without seeing each other. In fact, she'd sometimes decide, which specific days we would see each other. And that was hard for me. I tried to go along with it, but I was uncomfortable. I was really uncomfortable. And I didn't know why at the time, but it felt like I had given something up. Like I'd cut a limb and was quietly expecting her to pay me back for it. This is what can happen when we're out of alignment with our values, or when we trade them for someone else's. It feels like we've given up some part of us, a big part of us, like a limb, and we unconsciously expect something in return. For me, it led to resentment. The fights became frequent, always about the same things, looping and unresolved because the core issue, our values, wasn't being named. Eventually, it came down to a solo trip that she had taken. And while on that trip, photos pop up on Facebook of her and another guy named Felipe or whatever it was. And it looked like they were close, intimate. And I don't know if I actually think anything happened between them. She said that nothing did, but I know that I hated it. I really hated it. And I remember thinking, I would never do that to her. So why is she doing it to me? I made it mean she didn't care, that she didn't love me, and I ended the relationship. And the relationship needed to end. But when it did, her response made it clear that maybe she did care and that maybe she did love me. She was genuinely upset the way I saw it, which confused me at first. But then I kind of realized it was just that our values were different. That she wasn't wrong for having the values that she did, and I wasn't wrong for having the values that I did. She wasn't wrong. I wasn't wrong. We were just wrong for each other. That experience taught me a powerful lesson about knowing and owning my own values. I spent time afterwards, and time just really sinking in, getting clear on what my values for a relationship really were. And I really thought about it. I reflected on people that I admired. Actually, I'm thinking about my no. When I looked at them, I saw, you know what? That's what I want to emulate. Those are the values I like to have. And it wasn't long after that I met my wife. As I write this, we've been married 10 years and together nearly 12. Values show up everywhere. Values don't just show up in relationships, although they certainly matter there. They show up in work, in family life, friendships, your hobbies, and our sense of purpose and our health, mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual. When you are aligned with your values, you can be aligned with your whole self. The process might be messy. Mistakes might be made. Realigning with values takes effort. But if you're ready, real change is possible. So remember, dare to mess it up and dare to fail forward. You're not alone on this journey. If you are ready for change, check out the Values Self-Coaching Experience or consider working with a trained coach. Visit readyforchangecoaching.ca.